In this podcast, we're going to talk about the monster Grendel from the story Grendel by John Gardner. You may already know Grendel from the story Beowulf. In this story, he plays a different role. He's not as much of a mindless beast, but is intelligent in this story. He's a monster, yes, but also a thinker and kind of a mirror of ourselves. We'll analyze Grendel using two psychological theories,
Erickson's theory of psychological development has 8 stages, and Grendel is most relevant to stage 5, which is identity versus role confusion, is experienced during the adolescent stage. Grendel is the Grendel is the outsider. He doesn't belong to the humans, though he finds them fascinating. He doesn't fully belong to nature either. Not after he gains self-awareness and begins to think critically about his existence. He asks over and over, what is the meaning of this? He suggests with identity confusion, he wants to be more than just the monster humans say he is, but the fear and hatred start to define him. He begins to act the part of the monster, not because he wants to, but because he can't find another role to play. Grendel is caught in a tragic loop, seeking connection but forced into isolation, seeking meaning but failed to find meaning. In Erickson's terms, he failed to resolve the identity crisis, and this unresolved conflict leads to despair.
There's 3 parts in Freud's theory: ID, ego, and superego. Grendel relates most to ID because he destroys and lashes out. His violence is primal. Ego is just as active. Grendel is a thinker. He reasons, he questions the universe, and he even mocks the dragon's meaning with dark humor. His ego tries to make sense of a world that constantly rejects him. The superego is the most tragic part. Grendel observes the human stories, their morals, and their values. He listens to the shaper who creates meaning through song. Grendel desperately wants to believe in something more, but the superego is underdeveloped, or twisted, because he's raised with the nurturing society. There is no true moral code guiding him, only parts of what he observes from afar. The dragon, who tells Grendel that life is meaningless and he should seek out gold and sit on it, represents a kind of anti-superego. Pure meaning, and Grendel, caught between instinct, reason, and the absence of morality, spirals into despair. Freud might say Grendel is a monster not born, but made because of rejection, isolation, and unmet emotional needs.
Questions.
Okay. Is Grendel truly a monster?
I believe Grendel, deep down, is truly the monster, but I think with the way that the humans have, made him fit into this narrative, that he is becoming more of a monster just because they're putting him in this role and he is following through with that role. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of like he doesn't know how to act. He kind of is a monster, but at the same time, they're kind of putting him in a spot where he's not really a monster.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing.
Yeah. What do you think motivates Grendel?
Okay. Hold on. What motivates Grendel?
So what I think motivates Grendel is that the humans that he sees every day puts him into this, monster personality, and I believe truly that he doesn't think he is. So when he hears this, the anger in him comes out more and more over time, and this is when we see him lashing out more and more, going after humans and becoming this monster that we know from Beowulf, that they describe in Beowulf, which is this monster-like thing just terrorizing the people. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he really, think he knows how severe his anger is. So when he takes it out on people, he thinks that he's doing the right thing when he's really not, and that probably motivates him into thinking that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
How does the text portray monsters?
So I think that the text portrays monsters as, something that doesn't have feeling, something that just doesn't care about what people think or what people do to, antagonize them. But at the same time, I think they also kind of say it as just something that doesn't look right. A person with 2 heads, that would be classified as a monster in text now. But it also depends on what kind of text it's about. What do you think?
Um, yeah, kind of like you said, Grendel isn't kind of like when we picture a monster, we picture this scary thing or whatever, and we don't know what it is. But I don't think Grendel looks exactly like a monster from the way that the text explains it.
Yeah.
Is Grendel evil by nature or shaped by external factors?
So I think you could argue either way on this one because when we see Grendel's mother, like she isn't the nicest person, like from what we can tell. So maybe he gets a lot of those characteristics from his mother, but also the people who are driving him to be this monster, the humans, the Beowulf, all these things are, saying that he's a monster, but we don't know if he is. Like, we don't know what his mother looks like. We don't know what his dad looks like. We don't know what characteristics he has or what he looks like. But we don't also know his whole backstory. Like, yeah, we knew a little bit, especially about the bull and stuff like that, but we don't know everything about him, which I think that will help us lead down to what, or if he is evil or not. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they both, him being evil from nature and being shaped from his mother, since she might not be evil, but she's definitely not as caring as some mothers would be. So that could have something on him where he acts out and he doesn't realize what he's doing. Grendel asks us to question the very idea of monstrosity. Through Erikson, we see a creature trapped in a failed search for identity. Through Froude, we see the chaos of a self-aware being with no stable moral compass. Grendel is tragic not because he's evil, but because he tries to understand the world and finds only emptiness in return. And maybe...
Thank you for joining us on this talk about Grendel and what characteristics he has and what theory fits him the best. Thank you.
Did it stop?